Thanks for joining us for part 2 of MHFam by Land and Sea from Brazil. In this video, we will take a 3-day cruise adventure on board MSC Orchestra from Rio de Janeiro, and we will check out the beautiful island of Ilhabela, Brazil. If you missed part 1 where I shared how I spent 36 hours in Rio de Janeiro before my cruise, be sure to check it out and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.
Alright guys, I've made it on board MSC Orchestra. This is for a short 3-night sailing. Now, this is the whole reason for me coming to Rio de Janeiro. I figured first time in Rio de Janeiro, I might as well tag along a cruise, and it just kind of worked out perfectly to do the pre-cruise things, the 3-night cruise, and I might do something post-cruise, so stay tuned for that. But we're gonna go ahead and grab some lunch and explore some of the ship. It is really, really hot here. I underestimated how cold or how hot it is here in Rio de Janeiro. So definitely consider that when you're considering booking your cruise out of Rio de Janeiro. But let's go off and explore and grab something to eat.
The Port of Rio de Janeiro is located near downtown Rio and is home to cruise lines such as MSC Cruises, Costa, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, and Silver Sea. The Port of Rio is a short Uber ride to popular destinations such as Copacabana Beach, Sugarloaf Mountain, and Christ the Redeemer. Now, I'll be very honest that while the port authorities here did an excellent job making accommodations for those with special needs, families traveling with children under 2, and guests 16 and older, those of us who didn't fall in one of these categories found ourselves waiting over an hour in the sun to even start the embarkation process. There is certainly work to be done to make this port more organized and efficient.
Y'all, this terminal is a hot mess. Thank goodness for an ARIA upgrade. I was able to kind of skip the line. It is a hot mess.
MSC Orchestra launched in 2007 and is part of the Musica class. This ship can accommodate about 3,000 guests and 1,000 crew members and is a perfect mid-sized ship that offers several outdoor pool and jacuzzi options, as well as several different indoor lounges to relax in. While the ship does offer kids and teens clubs, as well as a virtual reality arcade and gaming room, this ship does not have any water slides, outdoor play areas, a sportsplex, or splash pads for those children looking for more adventure. But MSC Orchestra does offer an inviting MSC Aria spa with sauna, Turkish bath, and various massage and spa treatments for those adults wanting a bit of pampering. Also, something to know about MSC Orchestra is that it only has one specialty dining option, which is Chinese. I'll share that with you later in the vlog. But there is the buffet that's open throughout the day, as well as the main dining room. And you know my rule of thumb, always go to the back of the buffet where it's going to be a lot less crowded.
Alright y'all, so I had to come just chill out for a minute. It is so hot here. I underestimated the weather here. So the heat has taken a toll on me. But a couple things to know. Like I said, the terminal was complete chaos. That's, I guess, no fault of MSC's. It's just the way they have it set up. So I would recommend, if you are cruising out of Rio de Janeiro, to have some sort of priority status. If you have any disability, they did have a special lane for those with autism, special needs, 60 and older. Make sure you have that marked on your booking, because they did have a separate lane that went a lot faster. There was just no airflow in the terminal, so in the heat I'm just not used to anymore. It's snowing back home right now, so to put in perspective for those of you who don't know where I live, it's snowing back home right now. So yeah, so I'm on board. They've made a few announcements, which is interesting because nothing has been in English. Even when I was in the terminal, they had to find someone that could speak English to let me know that I was upgraded to ARIA. So it'll be very interesting. I wonder if they're going to actually translate into English. Now, I've taken cruises with MSC from Barcelona, through Italy, and most recently out of Martinique. And they, for the most part, started their announcements in English, and then they would translate into like 4 or 5 other languages. And that didn't happen. So it sounds like maybe he spoke maybe 3 different languages, but not English. So I must be like the lowest common denominator on this on this sailing. So they're probably not going to translate English. So that's interesting. It's the first time that I've experienced it. So I'll have to have my Google Translate app open and recording That way I can kind of know what's going on. So just something to know. But yeah, I'm gonna get up here after I rest and cool off and explore more of this ship.
One thing that I loved about MSC Orchestra was that the inside lounges never really felt crowded. Now the pool deck on this Brazilian cruise is another conversation, but the lounges were always so inviting. I spent a lot of time just relaxing and people watching from the comfort of the indoor lounges. And besides relaxing, I also enjoyed several of the live shows, activities, and live music that was offered daily. The shows on board, I will just have to say that they were some of the best that I've seen on board MSC Cruises. You can expect to have one show each night with an early and late showtime, as well as karaoke, tournaments in the Palm Beach Casino, and a DJ jamming at the R32 Disco until late in the evening. You will always find something to do when cruising with MSC. And if you're looking to give MSC Cruises a try, I'd love to help you plan your cruise adventure with them. I'm the owner of Major Adventures Travel, and we focus solely on cruises. MSC is one of our top suppliers, and I have cruised with them myself 10 times so far, so I know a thing or two about MSC Cruises. You can find our contact information in the description of this video.
Grabbed a close-up spot for Sailaway. Got my mustard drill knocked out early. That way I can check out what the Sailaway is like here. It's very subtle. It's like a lightly sweetened fruit punch though, but it has no color to it. I could do without it.
Senhoras e senhores, boa noite! Boa noite, sejam todos bem-vindos aqui no nosso teatro. Sejam todos bem-vindos a bordo do MSC Orchestra. Primeira noite vamos apresentar duas vestimentas para ficar bonitas para as noites, tá certo? Muito bem, agora eu vou dar uma passadinha em outros idiomas, já que temos outras nacionalidades a bordo. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening!
Aê, good
Hello.
Good evening.
Esse good evening aí é de Niterói.
É de Nova Iguaçu.
Good evening, welcome to the theater, welcome on board. My name is Rafael, I'm our cruise director, and every night we are waiting for you here in the theater for the wonderful shows.
Parabéns.
Damas y caballeros, muy buenas noches! Os mesmos de Niterói.
Watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high.
All right, so we are docked, or not docked. We are here in Ilhabela, which is part of Sao Paulo, and it is a tender port. So I'm currently booked with the MSC Shore Excursion. There is no translation for English. It's the only thing they have available because there's only 8 English speakers on board. So yeah, it'll be a very interesting day. They did advise to put on mosquito repellent. I mentioned before that mosquitoes are pretty bad here, so they did advise to go ahead and put that on. And they said if you don't have any, they do have some at the beach. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do, and we're gonna be getting on this tender boat. It is so beautiful here. Guys, it is so beautiful here, and I'm just waiting for my tour to begin. Now this is a 2-part tour. Part of it's on the land by a 4x4, and then the other part is a schooner boat. So that'll be pretty interesting to see. Now the waters are pretty choppy today, so we'll see what happens. But no one here speaks English, so they're kind of gesturing and keeping an eye on me to make sure I don't miss the tour. So keep that in mind. You know, that's expected when you are traveling abroad. It's just interesting that, you know, like I said, I've cruised so many other MSC ships, and this is the first time that there were only, you know, there were less than 10 English speakers. So I didn't want to cancel the tour because I didn't want to explore this place on my own, being my first time. So it'll be an interesting tour. It's really a beach stop. And like I said, you're going to reach the beach by sea and also by land, is my understanding. So just want to get out here and check out these beautiful beaches. It is already gorgeous. I love the landscape here. Yeah, it's amazing. It's really beautiful. And I don't think the videos or the pictures will do it justice.
So this tour was booked directly with MSC Cruises, as I tend to only book cruise line excursions when I'm in a foreign place and solo for the first time. But before I share the details of the tour, I must give a huge thank you to MSC Cruises for sending one of their English-speaking shore excursions team members to join me on the tour. I had no clue until I arrived in port and was approached by a crew member who was excited to join me and have a day off. Since I was the only English speaker on the tour and no translation services were provided by the tour operator, MSC made sure I was accommodated for, and I was very appreciative. This won't always be the case when booking a shore excursion with MSC, as tours of a certain language can be canceled if there isn't enough interest. However, since the tour advertised as being in English and Portuguese, MSC did their best to make things right and also provided a 20% refund of the excursion without me ever asking or complaining. Now this tour cost about $70 and was a 5-hour tour that took us through the mainland of Ilhabela. We made a couple scenic picture stops and made our way to the beach on a 4x4. If you have any mobility challenges, back issues, or sensitivity to motion, I would not recommend this, as it was a very bumpy ride. Once we made it to the beach, we had about 2 hours of free time to enjoy the beach and have lunch at our own expense. After beach time, we boarded another boat for a scenic look at Ilhabela by sea. This tour may operate in reverse order, but what I loved about it, besides the amazing views, was that unlike most cruise ship tours, this one was not overcrowded at all, and it made for a wonderful day in Brazil.
So it's been an amazing time here at this beach. I'm gonna hands down say this is probably the most picturesque beach that I've been to date. You guys know I love St. Thomas. St. Thomas is gorgeous, but just the foliage and just the atmosphere. It's a quiet vibe. It's just now starting to fill up. When I first got here, there weren't a whole lot of people out here. And again, you can take a transfer with the ship over to this beach, or you can do the tour like I'm doing. That's 2 parts. Amazing beach. So this is one that I could actually spend the full day at, because like I said, right now it's overcast, so it's not really hot. The water's cool. It's a beautiful, beautiful spot. So I could definitely see myself spending some time here. In fact, I'm probably going to look to see if there's possible to fly here, because I would love to spend a few days here. It's beautiful. Yeah, so far enjoying it. So we're getting on one of these boats out here. I'm wondering if this little raft is going to get us to the boat. I don't like little rafts. Yeah, I have a suspicion they're going to pick us up in that and have us get into the boat. That'll be interesting.
Ilhabela, Brazil is probably one of the most scenic places that I've ever visited. In fact, the word Ilhabela means beautiful island. Ilhabela is located right off the coast of Sao Paulo and is known for its stunning beaches and lush rainforests. There are approximately 35,000 residents who live there. Ilhabela is home to 360 waterfalls, exotic wildlife, and also has legends of hidden pirate treasures. One thing to be careful about when visiting Ilhabela are the borrachudos, or tiny biting flies. I applied bug repellent, but when I got home a few days later, I did find at least a dozen small insect bites on my extremities. But nonetheless, Ilhabela is a destination that I will absolutely visit again.
So that was an awesome tour. I wish I could have stayed longer at the beach. It was beautiful, 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 beautiful area. Definitely have to come back, either by cruise or by land. Yeah, might be one of my favorite islands. And I didn't see much of it, but from what I've seen, it's beautiful. So I still have about 4 hours I can explore the port and get back on the ship. The last tender leaves at 6. So I don't know, I might just walk around, pick up a souvenir or two, and get back on the ship. So it looks like they're preparing for Carnival too. Probably a smaller version of it, I don't know. But looks, yeah, they're setting up for it. All right, so the one thing that I said I didn't do in Rio that I wanted to do, that I have to do now that I see it, is acai. Jill Marie's like obsessed with it. I think she's seen it on TV somewhere, and I have yet to try it. So I'm gonna get one. So guys, got acai. First time, let's give it a try. This was like the must thing that I wanted to do while in Brazil. And this is $2.12. Really, really good. Sorry, brain freeze. I can't really describe what it tastes like. It's kind of like a plum to me. Ooh, brain freeze. Ooh. Yeah, it's kind of like a plum. And you can add in mix-ins if you want it. I just wanted it natural. That way I can taste it. Really good. I'm glad I'm able to finish off my trip with this.
Once back on the ship, I went back to my cabin and rested, showered, then had dinner at the buffet, and ended my evening by watching this amazing show. It was a lot of fun, guys. Be sure to check out the performances on MSC. I really enjoyed the variety show here. Following the show, I did attempt to go to the late evening white night party, but we got rained out. So I called it a night and prepared for my next day at sea. And here we are, the last day of the cruise, day 3. It is a sea day. And guys, honestly, I just enjoyed the sea day relaxing. I had quite a bit of coffee to start my morning off, lounged by the pool and on the pool decks, and then I went inside to just relax and cool off a little bit. But honestly, I didn't do a whole lot on this day. I did browse to shop, pick up a couple of souvenirs, did a little bit of work, but honestly, not a whole lot going on the ship that I wanted to do. There were a lot of deck parties going on, which really isn't my style of cruising, but lots of deck parties and activities going on. And of course, there was a show in the evening. Now, I did decide to have lunch in the main dining room. So you're going to see me have lunch, followed right by dinner, but just know that there was a break in between there. I was working and just enjoying the ship.
So I decided to have lunch in the main dining room to avoid the buffet chaos. They were trying to seat me with others. I had to explain, hey, I speak English. It'd be great if I could sit by myself. So they finally agreed to give me a table. So hopefully they won't try to put other people here because I don't speak Portuguese. And it's kind of awkward sitting at a table with others that are speaking and you can't speak to them. So again, that was one of my issues with this ship, is that there really aren't solo tables, like even on the buffet. Everything's like 4 top or bigger. So yeah, so keep that in mind if you're a solo cruiser.
Shanghai is the only specialty dining offering on board MSC Orchestra. Shanghai specializes in Asian food, and I found the price of $18 per person to be well worth the cost. But thankfully, I didn't have to pay at all due to my Diamond loyalty status with MSC Cruises. Be sure to check out their status match program before your cruise. I dined at 6:30 p.m. and as you can see, I was the only one in the restaurant. I learned from the friendly server that this restaurant is often underutilized during the Brazilian season, as most Brazilians love to enjoy the complimentary options offered. I found the food to be amazing and plentiful, and I'd certainly dine at Shanghai again. And that is it for our very first MH Fam by Land and Sea series. I disembarked the ship swiftly, caught a $7 Uber to the airport, relaxed all day long at the airport, tried KFC in Brazil, and yes, it is way better than the US, and I was off on my long flight back to the US, where I missed my first ever connecting flight in Miami due to waiting on bags to recheck. But I made it back home safely to the family, in one piece and ready for the next adventure. I hope you enjoyed this new series. We will have more on the way, but in the meantime, please subscribe, comment, like, and share. See you next time.